Triple EDC back again with another knife video. This is the QSP Penguin. Now QSP is another Chinese manufacturer. If I had to compare it to another Chinese manufacturer, I'd probably compare it to Artisan Cutlery, at least before they had the CJRB lineup, because QSP has both the budget end and the higher end, or somewhat higher end, on under the same label. And what I mean by that is you still have the budget materials and everything at the budget prices. Then you also have the, S35 yen and carbon fiber and some higher end materials at the higher end. So let's go ahead and take a look at this knife. As far as size comparisons, this is the Civivi McKenna and the CJRB Rhea. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger than both of these knives. This is the Benchmade Bugout and the Civivi Backlash. It's quite a bit smaller than the Backlash, only a little bit smaller than the Bugout, so the Bugout is a really good size comparison for this. And it is quite a bit smaller than the Benchmade Super Freak and the Para 3. The Super Freak, of course, being the same size as a PM2 from end to end. All right, that should give you a good idea of size comparison. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the good and bad of this knife. So the good of this knife. First of all, the value. The value is excellent, just absolutely home run, out of the park value on this. The value is, these are under 30 bucks, so like $29 and change. For these, they come in a couple different variants. There's the OD green micarta, there's a brown micarta, and there's a jean micarta. And the value on these is amazing, because you're getting micarta, you're getting D2 steel for 30 bucks. And so CJRB came in, shocked the market with the Centros and the Feldspar at that $35 price range. That was with G10. Their micarta, knives are starting to be more in the $50 range. And somehow QSP gets micarta and D2, those same materials, in the $30 price range. So as far as value goes, I'm not sure there's a better value on the market than this knife right here. And that's saying a lot. Now, is it the best budget knife on the market? Not quite, but it is the best value, I think, that there is on the market as far as materials and what you're getting for the dollar. So let's go ahead and also talk about some other things. The micarta on here feels pretty good. It is slightly waxy and slightly rough at the same time. It is less waxy than the micarta on my Benchmade Proper, and I would say it's more waxy than the micarta on the Allen Putman scales on the Bugout. So, you have sort of that middle range there. If I had to compare it to as far as feel on it, it feels actually a lot like the micarta that comes on the Chris Reeve Inkosi and Chris Reeve Sebenza. Now, is that to say this is the same quality as a Chris Reeve? No. But as far as the waxiness and level and feel on there, it's about the same. So that is to say, it feels great, and that's a great thing. So another great thing about this is the blade shape. I love Wharncliffe or sheep's foot blades, the true sheep's foot blades that look more like Wharncliffe's. And this is a great blade shape. I absolutely love it. It's great for, doing any of the fine work that you need to get into going into packages. It has, good cutting force when you're coming down. It's just a great blade shape all around, so very happy with that. Another thing I love on this is the action. The action on this is great. I believe this is phosphor bronze washers. I haven't taken it apart yet, and I couldn't tell from the literature online, but it looks to me to be phosphor bronze washers. Let's see if I can get a close-up on here. You guys able to see that? Phosphor bronze washers is what it appears to be. But despite being on phosphor bronze washers, you can see that action is just absolute butter. It's a true Dropshot action, and it's just amazing to have that on a $30 knife. Absolutely blows away all the Teflon, that CRKT and some of the other brands Kershaw does in this price range. Just absolutely blows it out of the water. It feels like it's on bearings, and you do have some other bearing knives in the same price range. You got CJRB, you got Civivi, but you know, they're not even quite in the $30 price range, and you just get great feel on here, and it feels like it's on bearings without having the problem of, you know, the bearings getting mucked up. The lanyard holds out of the way on this, doesn't get in the way of anything. Another great thing for the design. Nice deep carry pocket clip, nothing fancy, very standard for you know, a budget knife, but frankly, it's great for the price and very, very functional. As far as the fit and finish on here, the fit and finish is excellent. If I had to compare the fit and finish to something, I think it's pretty on par with CJRB and their fit and finish. As you can see, the scales are pretty fit to the liners, and you've got you know, good centering and everything else as well. Very good fit and finish on here. Ergonomics on here are pretty neutral, you know, so that's to say they aren't excellent. They aren't necessarily excellent, but they're better than good. So, you know, if I had to say out of 10, maybe a 6.5 out of 10 on the ergonomics. The knife is a little short, but I can still get a full 4-finger grip on here, even if it's a little crowded. So ergonomics are good on here as well. The steel on here is D2, as I said. D2 is a great steel for the budget range. I think people are getting tired of it a little bit in budget, but frankly, if they keep pushing the price down, it's exciting when it's you know, to get a nice steel, a good user steel like D2, when you get into a nice value price range like $30. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the good for me. As far as the bad on here, well, there's a couple of things here. One is there's no milling on the scales, so as you know, skeletonizing on the scales. So as you can see, those are all solid liners. What that means is this could be a lighter knife than it is. Is that a bad thing? No, I like the substantial feeling of knives, but frankly, a lot of people like, you know, a little bit lighter of a knife. And because it has full stainless steel liners, that means it's going to be a little bit heavier than you'd expect, even if overall the knife is actually pretty light. Another thing that, you know, sort of a nitpick, you can't complain about for the price is the protruding screws on the pocket clip. It is what it is. I mean, you know, that's pretty expected on pretty much everything in the budget range. But if you could, you know, countersink the screws, obviously that'd be much better. The pivot is really uninteresting. It's literally just a rounded off head. So that is what it is. But again, you're at that $30 price range where you're trying to cut corners where you can to keep that price down. So I don't mind it as much, but it's sort of a little bit of a nitpick. Again, with the hardware on the other side, the hardware overall, you know, is pretty decent, but so the hardware here is countersunk, but the hardware here on this side of the clip as well is not countersunk. What that means is you have you not only have the hardware sticking up over here, but you have the screws sticking up over here as well. I'd like to see those more flush. They were able to countersink these ones. They should be able to countersink these right here, which would mean that they also should be able to countersink the ones on the pocket clip, although it might be a little harder since you have to countersink the whole pocket clip. Don't know if that made sense. I hope it did. So so overall, I mean, I think there's really not a whole lot to complain about on this knife. Just for $30, you're getting an amazing value and a knife you're really, really going to be happy with. So I really highly recommend this. This is going to be a top 5 budget knife for me for sure. So I'm going to be doing a list of, you know, top 5 or top 10 budget knives pretty soon here. And when I go ahead and do that list, this is definitely going to be on that. So be on the lookout for that. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get all my content. Go ahead and hit the like button if you thought this video was helpful, and drop a comment. Let me know if you have this knife or any other QSP products and what you think of them, and see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much.